Hello, I'm the Cartographer, and this is the 123rd video in my Fallout 76 Surveyal series, and here we are at Grafton Steel. This is an enormous location. In fact, I started clearing this place out yesterday at dawn, and it is now dawn of today. Along with that, I've taken over the local workshops. You're going to see how that place is operating right now. Anyway, though, let's talk about this place. Enemies, Supermutants, floaters, mutant hounds. In terms of the plants you can find here, there are toxic soot flowers, there's a little bit of brain fungus, and there are some wood piles that you can find as well. Not plants, but collectible notes. This was a very interesting place. It's the source of most of the air pollution and all the white toxic powder that you can find over most of the Toxic Valley. And we're going to see a little bit about that stuff when we go here, but if you're really interested in the lore of what happened to the Toxic Valley, you can watch my video, Darius Angler and the Making of the Toxic Valley, and I will link that at the end of this. Okay, so let's take a look at this place. Now, first off, before we go in here, I've made this map, and it's because, again, when I was clearing this place for junk, I got myself twisted and turned around so many times. So we got two break rooms. Well, not really break rooms. They got lockers in them, and they look like they might be break rooms, but they've also got machinery in them, so they're kind of break rooms. There's also the smelter. There's a junction between that smelter and the blast furnace. That blast furnace also contains a workroom. And then there's the rolling mill. That's two buildings effectively linked by a little walkway. And then there's the locker room that is actually under the rolling mill, but it extends out a little bit, and you've got a little bit of an entry there. Okay, so let's start off this place by actually going to the northwest corner of this place and checking out the break rooms first. We're going to go through this parking lot, though, so we may as well talk about it while we go through. You can tell things have just kind of gone to hell here. The ground is completely broken up. You've got a crane here that's nearly tipped over. This truck's here. This Grafton Steel van is halfway in the ground here. Every one of the Grafton Steel trucks has been changed to steel as in theft. So, that's interesting. But yeah, if we come over here, same exact thing. It's only on the back door. They don't do it on the side. Along with that, if we go... Okay, see, and one thing I'm going to tell you, every time you think you've killed every super mutant here, you have not killed every super mutant here. Okay. Let's get back to it. So, there is clearly a protest taking place out here that ended in violence. You've got a lot of dead people, broken robots. You got a couple people here that are actually handcuffed right next to this cop car. Okay, so we'll head back over this way. This structure has been completely destroyed. No telling exactly what this was. Here's the entrance here, or one of the entrances, and you can see that they've blocked up one half of the entrance with a barrier there to keep people from driving in. We're going to go around it a little bit here. Head back down this way, because there's an interesting thing in the back of the container of this truck here. Plus, we're going to the northwest corner anyway. So yeah, you can see Grafton Steel up there on that tank. Okay, now this is more of like a day-to-day employee entrance over here. If we come up here on the truck, strange little scene in here. There's one of the wood piles I was talking about. But you got this gentleman here with his teddy bear wearing a prospector's hat, sitting on a cushion while he was brushing it while playing the harmonica and drinking some wine. So, strange situation there. Anyway, we got another one of these Grafton Steel trucks here. Got a large dozer here. I'm not entirely sure what this would be for here at this site. You typically see these at actual mining sites, not at refining sites. Okay, starting with the building in the northwest corner, let's take a look inside here. And again, we've got a piece of machinery in here, but we also have lockers around the room. So this seems like this was a combination workroom and also a break room. They got a water cooler here, you see. This is the elevator down into the Grafton Underground. It unfortunately does not work in reverse. It makes a noise, but nothing happens. Which is unfortunate because it means that Grafton Steel's Underground is one of the few areas that you really can't go back to after the quest. That quest is for the Raiders in the Wastelanders main quest series. You got an armor workbench here. You can potentially find an armor plan right here. Okay. And now let's head up over here into this break room. Well, again, this one, again, lockers, but also it has these pieces of machinery here, so I don't know exactly what this sort of room was, but some junk over there. Coming up over here, we have the first piece of lore that we're going to read, which is the important memo. Grafton Steel Memorandum to all employees from Stacy Tibbetts, HR Manager. I'm pleased to announce that Grafton Steel has officially been named a government-preferred war contractor. Our efforts, your efforts, will defeat the commies. With this news comes some exciting changes. Exciting, she says here. Effective immediately, all shifts will be working a 6/72 schedule to make our production quota. Remember that with your 12-hour shift, you will get an extra half an hour for lunch at your workstation, and 3 15-minute breaks. That's right, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, a half hour for lunch, and 3 15-minute breaks. That's ridiculous. Under the Wartime Workers Act, you'll be given time and a half pay for the 11th and 12th hour of each day. So there's some extra money coming your way. Hooray. Only for the 11th and 12th hour of each day? What? You're working 32 hours of overtime here. Sick time is no longer paid. A doctor's note is required for any absence. Lovely. Support the war effort at Grafton Steel. Stacy Tibbetts, HR Manager, Grafton Steel, Company Confidential. Now, it's probably the case that with people working 6/72 schedule, they're going to end up with a lot of extra injuries, so my guess is that sick time is going to be fairly common. In fact, the reason that Grafton Steel ended up becoming the place that turned the Toxic Valley toxic is because one of the workers fell into a molten vat of steel, and his brother couldn't take it. Okay. But again, we're done here in this room, so let's continue on. We're going to go over to the smelter next. Well, actually, you know what? Let's follow the steel as it goes through this plant, which means we're going to start over at the blast furnace area. Okay, so you don't have marsupial. This isn't going to work for you, but I'm just going to jump up here. Okay. This generator here is always shot up by the Supermutants. I don't know why that's the case. Anyway. You'd think that if they'd been occupying this place constantly, there wouldn't be a working generator there if they shoot it every time. Oh, Lord. Again, every time you think you've killed them all. In his case, the blood of his predecessor is still on the wall behind him. My guess is that they're spawning again after me having killed them. Okay, we'll check out the workroom first, because it's not actually part of the blast furnace stuff. Okay. So we come around here, Tinker's Workbench. We got a plan right here for a Tinker's Workbench, one of those common plans. Some containers of junk, some more junk coming over here. A little locker room. Okay. Now then, we'll come back over this way. And here's another note here, but it's the important memo again. Yeah. And if we come down here, we got a weapons workbench. I think you can have a weapon plan spawn up here, but it's not something that I managed to record. I think I actually had it there the first time I went through, but I was just here collecting junk and I wasn't thinking about it at the time, so I didn't capture it. Come right over here, we got a forklift, some more cabinets, and that's the workroom. The workroom also does go up to the roof, and so we're going to go up there. Okay, heading up the stairs. Or the ramps, I guess. Roof access here. And we're going to start to see how this all worked. The first thing that would happen is the trucks would bring in the iron ore. Okay? So they would then come in here, and I don't know why they add this room access the way they have it accessed, because you'd think that they'd want the trucks directly unloading the iron ore on this belt, but anyway. So you can find 15 pieces of iron ore on this belt, or at least that's how many I found. You come up this belt, just like the iron ore did. It goes through this little room, up this belt. This is very reminiscent of the pit. And it drops down into the top of the furnace here. Now we can also drop here. And there's a skeleton here, and this is the skeleton of Supervisor Fortney. And you can also find Fortney's furnace key here in his cooler. I'd recommend taking it if you don't have it. I already have it, so I'm just going to leave it because I don't need multiple copies of that key. The steamer trunk is also at this part of the location. We'll head back down these stairs. And we're going to go down into the blast furnace where that iron is going. Yeah, more meat piles from Supermutants up here. Okay, down the roof. Back inside. Okay, we're down in the workroom again. And so long as you have the key to the furnace from Fortney, you can then come over here. And there's a note here. Restricted access. Due to the ongoing investigation about the attempted sabotage of the blast furnace, we are restricting access to approved personnel only. Supervisor Fortney will be in charge of the shift handoff of the keys, and the door shall remain locked under all hours. Management. Okay, but we can come in here. This was locked when I first showed up. I opened it to kill the Supermutants in here. And here we have the massive blast furnace, turning all that iron ore into molten iron with all of its impurities. Okay. And so then that liquid metal would get into this pipe, and it starts heading over across this elevated bridge here, that junction that I highlighted in the cyan, or I guess it's really just light blue. It's not really cyan. Anyway, comes over through here into the smelter, and this is where they would remove the impurities and things like that. So we come over here, and yeah, we got the smelter works here. There's not really all that much in the way, like there's like a few pipes there, but really the main thing you're looking for here is this river of molten metal that for some reason is still in here. I can't say I know why this would be the case. I know this place still has power. In fact, you can have power run here from the Poseidon power plant down in Charleston, but again, I don't know why there's still liquid metal in here. 26 years after the bombs. You would assume that somebody would have taken advantage of this by this point and gotten it out of here. In the smelter area, we've got this additional locker room area here. Killed a lot of stuff in here, by the way. There's a walkway that basically goes around the entire exterior of the smelter room. Okay, but heading back in here, we've got a lot of elevated platforms. For some reason, there's a plunger attached to this console right here. This gentleman came into work in his slippers. I guess he didn't get up from his station there very often, so he's trying to be comfortable. But that's mostly what you see here in the smelter. If we come up here, some more machinery like you see in the nuclear plants. Pipes of the molten metal. There's a power armory station right there. I've not seen a chassis in there. I don't know if one can spawn there or not. And again here, back in that junction. If you want to see what this looks like from the outside, we can actually drop down to the ground floor. We got a whole bunch of barrels in here for some reason. I don't really know exactly why. Okay, and if we come out here, you've got a driveway that goes under that junction. Okay, and again, there is the smelter right there. All right, so once they had the steel smelted and made into bars, they would go into the rolling mill. Right here, we're in the locker room. There's some more of those wood piles. Just to point out how this ends up on the other side, we got these lockers, a sink there, some shelves, and we can come out here, and we'll talk about all this stuff in a minute. But if we go back upstairs, we can head back out to the front of the plant. Water tower here. Okay, so the rolling mill. There, right over there, is the workroom that we went into earlier. I'll just take a look in there so you remember. That's the entrance to the blast furnace. Yeah, okay. So if we come over here, we're in the rolling mill now. And we got a plan here for a water filter. That's been here every time, so I think that's something that spawns every time. Along with that, there's a piece of molded plastic kind of hidden in that box. Keep that in mind whenever you're looking for plastic. Periodic table of the elements there. If we come down here, we have a holotape here, repair plan.
I don't know what all they put in the furnace, but it's gummed it up for good. Wouldn't have been so bad if y'all just shut the damn thing down for a few weeks and cleaned out the blast. At this point, whatever it is, at this point it's fused with every damn part from the furnace to the smelter and the mills.
Look, Mason, I don't need to hear it. Can you keep it running or not?
That ain't gonna be easy. Whatever's going on chemically, it's pretty toxic and corrosive at that. You're gonna have to keep making near constant repairs. I can mark the areas, but it's not gonna stop the ash.
Foreman doesn't give a damn about the ash. The workers brought it on themselves, now they get to live with it. Besides, the bots don't care. All the more reason to continue the workforce changeover.
So, that's it then. Just keep replacing bots and machinery and let the plant destroy the valley and break up the strikers?
If you got a problem with that, we can cancel payment.
It's just... Just get me in the van, okay? And get me out of here before anyone sees me.
Yeah, pleasure doing business with you. We'll recommend you to our friends.
Don't ever contact me again after this. And erase my name off that holotape. I went over the needed repairs. That's enough.
Fine.
So yeah, a little bit weird there because, to my understanding, the actual sabotage took place on the day of the bombs, but that seems to indicate that it happened earlier. Anyway, though, this terminal here has nothing on it. I don't know why. Anyway, some more junk here around the walls, some ammunition back there on that shelf. Little eatery thing here with nothing in it. You can come down here, and you can actually look down under the floor and see some of the rolling that would be taking place. You can see like iron bars down in there that were going along this thing, getting pressed flatter and flatter until they'd be turned into sheets. Okay, more junk. Going back over this way, we're in the other end of the rolling mill here. More equipment to, again, keep flattening the iron into larger and larger plates. Okay. And that's really just about it here in terms of taking a look at the rest of this place. If we come down here, you can see the two water outputs that were draining into Grafton Lake. Potentially part of why it's this color, although I think a large part of that is also from the crashed space station. You can also get into the Grafton Underground from down there, but again, it's locked up, so there's no real point in going down in there after you finish that quest there. Okay, let's talk about the workshop here. Now, this place has 2 steel extractors. It also has a copper extractor, a lead extractor, an oil extractor. Okay, so there's the oil right there, the copper is there up the hill, the lead's right there, and the steel is right there and right there, and they're always built whenever you show up. So I came in, I powered them all up, and then along with that, for your to assist you in the defense, this Vertibot shows up, and it also gives you signal grenades that show up in this Vertibot signal grenade box, and using those you can throw them at the enemies that come in, and it will assist you in shooting at them. I'd actually done this for the first time just this time because I'd never seen the point. I'd always basically just viewed this place as a place to get a vast quantity of steel, and steel's fairly common, so I hadn't seen the need for it. Let's take a look around here real quick. This is the last extractor I put up. I got 10 copper ore in there now. This was the very first extractor that I powered up right here, which is the steel extractor here. And we're up to 40 pieces of scrap steel, which I think is the limit to how many they can hold. Let's head over here and see if this one's at 40 as well, because this one I powered up significantly later. Yeah, so 40 is the limit of what they can hold. If we come over here, again, this is a lead extractor. And if we come back up over here, the oil extractor. There we go. Alright, so I'll show you a little clip of working with this Vertibot here. Alright, now I think that has shown you everything that you need to see here. Let's see, what else? Let me check my notes here. Ah yeah, okay. 2 more things to show you here. Alright, here we are in the workroom, and there is Darius Angler's Manifesto, Part 6. We'll play this real quick.
The air raid sirens, the ground shaking. It's Billy. He's telling me it's time. Everyone is thinking about the bombs. They won't notice me. All I have to do is sneak into Grafton Steel and use my secret formula. Then their smokestacks will begin spewing toxic dust all over the valley. Then they'll be sorry they hurt Billy. They'll be sorry and dead.
Alright, so yeah, very interesting story there. I highly recommend you check out that lore video. It was my actually first successful one. Anyway, along with that, again, that seems to reinforce to me the idea that it happened on the day of the bomb, so it's weird that they had a repairman come here and check it out. Anyway, along with that, we got the signs of the riot that was taking place here, where you've got a Assaultron with a tire iron stuck through its head. That was not the other thing I wanted to show you, though. The other thing I wanted to show you was, well, actually, there's 2 other things further. Sorry, I look at my notes, I see one thing, and then I realize there's actually 2 more. Okay, so If we come over here, here we are on the roof of the smelter, and here's Heinrich, probably Heinrich. Oop. And we talked about this guy a little bit in the Pioneer Scouts camp Surveyal video, so I'm not going to read this thing again here. Just know that there are two raiders who are set up to shoot each other, one here, one in the watchtower over there at the Pioneer Scouts camp. The last thing I'm going to show you is a note that you can find in a porta potty. Oh, I went the wrong way. It's over by the break rooms. Alright, here we are. If I open up this porta potty, there we go. Stained note. Zach and Mike have been keeping an eye on Fortney during his shift rotation, and it seems he's taking his smoke breaks up on top of the furnace. We'll corner him for a little chat, and then see what we can do about the robot pods in the admin building. Won't stop them forever, but it will at least give us time to regroup with Raleigh. So the only Raleigh I know of is the Raleigh who was one of the members, and one of the leaders, really, of the Free States movement. So, very interesting that his name is mentioned there, if it is him. So, I don't really have any context on that otherwise, but yeah, very strange. I'd love to know more about that. The last thing we need to do before we leave here is take a look at all the junk and everything that I found here. Alright, that should do it. This has been the Resolute Cartographer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.